Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the second round of the Alma Corse Pre-season. Tonight we're racing in Laguna Seca, one of the best track in the United States. Every driver loves this track, loves the challenges it poses, and we'll see how our 16 drivers today will cope with that. We are changing the format from last round. We've improved it a little bit with the heat racing and the qualifying. We'll get back into that explanations as soon as possible, but for now let's take a look a little bit at the conditions on track. It's partly cloudy with a little bit of wind. We'll see if this actually hinders some of the drivers, especially in the corkscrews. We just see people smashing into the barriers, case in point. It will be a battle for the best drivers to see whoever can come out on top and win the $10 iRacing that are reserved to the top scorer for tonight. Let's take a look at what's happening on track with the practice that it's almost over. Top of the timesheets, Leon Penn here, two drivers trying to get something like a third car out of two. Let's make sure that that doesn't happen again. It's a little bit of a tricky pit exit here, especially on cold tires. We've seen plenty of drivers just skid into the gravel there. Please also let me know if everything is okay with the audio setup, if there are no problems. Oh, we already have a good message in the chat with fans of Aaron Ingram. But Aaron, yeah, we'll see how well he can do today. We know he's fast, he just hasn't had the best of opportunities last round. It's good to see that there's some love for Aaron in the chat. It's a very special message for Aaron there. If Aaron Ingram has million number of fans, I am one of them, says Yeah Boy Klondike. If Aaron Ingram has 10 fans, I am one of them. If Aaron Ingram have only one fan, and that is me, if Aaron Ingram has no fan, that means I am no more on the earth. Oh no, with sad face. If the world is against Aaron Ingram, I am against the world. I love Aaron Ingram till my last breath. Heart eyes emoji, die-hard fan of Aaron Ingram. Wow, I have never seen such yeah, this is heart really melting, and hopefully we'll see a good performance from Aaron tonight. Qualifying is underway. The drivers have 10 minutes and maximum 10 laps, so it's not like they can just get in and out of the pits. They have to be on track. It's open qualifying, so this means everybody's on track at the same time, which adds to the challenge. And we'll have to see who can stay out of traffic and get a clean lap in. Pole position awards 2 points, and then the grid will form the qualifying order will form the grid for the heat race, which we call a sprint race, which gives less point than the longer feature race, which will be the main event. And we'll start with the grid set up by the finishing order in the heat race. A little bit of a change in format because last time that didn't work super well with inverted grid, so we decided to not invert the grid anymore and just let the drivers take their chance into the sprint race and basically gauge risk versus reward to make sure they can get the best qualifying spot, best grid spot for the feature race. Cold tires always tricky on this track, and with this car, with the Dallara Formula 3 car, the F3 with already drivers on track making a little bit of a mess, as is tradition. At the moment, Charlie Cohen with a 1:24.0 has the best lap, but we know that they are warming up their tires, and this is something that is just, those times are going to crumble. We'll have to see who is getting the 2 points for pole position and get that ever closer to the $10 of iRacing dollars. That is the prize for today. Doesn't look like it was an improvement, although people are improving behind him. Let's see, Angelo Veloz the Brazilian, first time racing with Alma Corse tonight, so we wish him well. 119.4. Jadin Ladic, the winner of last round, dominated last round, took almost all the points available but the ones from pole position, which were taken by Will Redford, who's not on the grid tonight. So it's going to be a golden chance for Ladic to cement his leadership in the championship standings, as Will doesn't look like he's going to contest the win tonight, which is a shame. Wish he was there. Second position for Gabriel Berger, one of the first fans of Alma Corse. We really want to see him succeed tonight. A little bit of ping issues, I would say, for some of the drivers tonight, which is interesting. Hopefully this will get sorted out before the start of the race. Most of the drivers are in Europe, and the server has been set up in Europe, so I don't particularly understand why that is an issue at the moment. Ladic improves with a 117.0. We know he is fast and he is putting that speed to good use. 1.8 the gap to second place Gabriel Berger, who's on an outlap at the moment. The setup is fixed, so every driver is racing with the same car, same tires, same fuel loads, so there's really just the skill and the experience of the drivers dividing one from the other. As we say that Samuel Razul and Nicolas Nsiabaka go with faster laps and set a personal best at a 1:18.0, both of them, but 40 hundredths of a second Nsiabaka is faster than Razul and takes P2. Excellent control from Ladic at the corkscrew. Charlie Cohen goes second fastest with the fastest last sector, 117.3, and Elias Raika 117.4. Raika, who had 1 point deducted from his championship standings after lap 1 incident in the feature race 2 weeks ago. We hope that we will not see any more shenanigans during the first lap, although this track, let's say, that doesn't help with avoiding incidents. Leon Penn with a 116.291. What a performance. Very, very good lap. Looks like Ladic has his work cut out for him tonight. Very good to see Leon Penn striking back at Ladic after a little bit of trouble that he also had during the first race of the pre-season. We have some drivers that have registered to the race but have not yet set a lap time, which is a little bit disappointing. So at the moment we only have 10 drivers on track out of almost 16, 17 drivers that we see registered on the server. And these people need to get a move on, otherwise they might not be able to start the heat race. Training Paints is on, actually. There was a little bit of an issue with the update. Let's take a look if we can see some of the liveries. We're on board with Charlie Cohen. And actually, you know, Aaron Ingram is not at the moment setting lap times. Let's take a look at Thomas Capasso here. Jared Pohl has decided to show up, which is good to see. Gabriel Berger here, this is definitely a custom livery from Gabriel, inspired by the McLaren livery. Ladic again with a pole, takes pole back from Leon Penn with a 116.1. Times are crumbling as the tires get warmer, and the fuel loads also get lower and lower. hopefully the traffic will not be too much of an issue with 10 cars on track. As we enter the last 2 minutes of qualifying, a little bit of traffic for Jadin Ladic at the moment. We'll have to see if he'll be able to clear that or if he will have an impact. Meantime, he is improved with a 116.0, and it looks like he is going to be session over for for Ladic, whereas Leon Penn is on an outlap at the moment. Trying and seeing if that can be something that can be a threat to Ladic pole position at the moment and the 2 points that come with it. And let's go on board. It looks like that car has seen some damage. Let's follow Leon Penn as he tries to take pole position away from Ladic. Now already a small mistake from Leon. He needs to be perfect. There's definitely something wrong with the connection. Corkscrew, trickiest part of the track for sure, but Leon makes it look easy. And qualifying is over actually, so not enough time. That was definitely not enough time. As the grid forms for the heat race, it looks like Aaron Ingram is actually in the race. And people are going there, so that's good to see. Let's take a look at the grid then. With Ladic takes pole position and 2 points with a 116.0. Then it's Leon Penn, Elias Raika, Nicolas Nsiabaka, Samuel Rasul, Charlie Cohen in P6, Gabriel Berger P7, Angelo Veloz P8, Stefano Guiducci P9, Kevin Bucomino P10, Gerald Paul P11, Thomas Capasso P12. Then we have Martin Bruneval P13, Dario Raffaetta P14, Aaron Ingram P15, and Giuseppe Gnazzo P16, but I don't believe he's going to take part into today's race. Let's reload the overlay. That seems a little bit out of place. Sometimes that happens. Now the drivers have a little bit less than a minute to take their place onto the grid. Jadin Ladic taking his time, not doing that yet. And now we are almost ready to go. Where's Ladic? That would be a little... Oh, there he is. There's Jadin Ladic. And now we're almost ready to go. Drivers concentrating. Samuel Rasul has not found the grid yet. There he is. Great, excellent, good to see. Here comes the red lights. Drivers getting ready. Green light, and it starts the feature. The sprint race starts. Good getaway from Ladic. Penn cannot do anything about it for the moment. Let's see behind if all the drivers can behave in turn 1. It looks as though there's no major incidents yet. That is great to see. Oh, as I say that, a little bit of drama there. And it's a little bit some trouble already for Thomas Capasso, Samuel Rasul and the others. Let's go. Let's follow Ladic, who has a 6/10 of a second gap. Sorry, the jittering is a little bit distracting me at the moment. There's some problem with the server somehow. Hopefully that doesn't impact the ability of the drivers to race with one another. Further at the back, there's Aaron Ingram gaining places. He's currently in P9. Let's take a look at Angelo Veloz. What happened to him? He's currently in P11. There's a little bit of traffic ahead, and he's able to stay with that traffic at the moment. Good to see that there was not a lot of drama. Sad to see Samuel Razul, who was in the pits, and Thomas Capasso as well, and Angelo Veloz also entered the pit lane, with Ladic setting the fastest lap of the race at the moment as it enters lap 2. Elias Raika is at 1.4 seconds. Leon Penn has lost P2 to the Finn. Gap behind is 1.9. Now we'll have to see if Leon Penn can strike back at the Finn, or if he'll have to settle for 3rd place. Something happened to Cohen. He crashed somehow. Let's take a look at a replay at that. There's definitely something wrong with the server today. As Jaden Ladic sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:17.6. Raik and Penn still fighting for the podium, P2, P3, Siabak and P4, Gabriel Berger P5, Bucomino P6, Bruneval P7, Guiducci P8, Raffaetta, Ingram, Cohen, Veloz, Paul, Gerald Paul, Rasul, Capasso, all had some trouble and basically are losing a lot of time either in the pits or having been lapped already. It's kind of two different races forming up at the moment. There's the one at the top with the top 4, all within 4 seconds of the lead. And then there is Gabriel Berger all alone in P5. Then we have also a little bit of another train with Bucomino, Bruneval and Guiducci. And then Veloz alone in P9. And then there is the lapped cars from P11 downwards. Thomas Capasso has crashed. Even more drama for the Italian. Let's take a look at what happened. It's either Capasso or the ghost of Capasso. There's really a terrible lag that I am not able to explain at the moment. And as I see that, there is a lot going on at the moment. Especially the fight for P2 at the moment is the fiercest, although even P6, P7 and P8 are all fighting for position, which is good to see. Let's take a look at Martin Bruneval, who's the driver who has gained most position from qualifying to this point in time. He's gained seven steps. He's currently running in P6 ahead of the Guiducci and Bucomino after passing Guiducci for P6. Jaden Ladic with fastest lap of the race meanwhile with a 1:16.596. Gaining on Raika and Penn. The gap now is less than 4 seconds for the top 3, with Siabaka, who has lost a little bit of time but is now trying to get back at Leon Penn and get closer and be menacing. Looks like the only one who's not stuttering is Jaden Ladic, so for the sake of all of us, I'm staying with him at the moment. Let's take a look also at Angelo Valls. P9 for the Brazilian, 119.5, personal best for him. He's trying to gain and gain and gain. This is not a really long race, it's just a sprint race. But it does award points, and even more importantly, it awards grid position for the main event, for the feature race. Let's take a look at Ladic getting lapping Dario Raffaetta at the moment. Clean, thank you Dario for making that easier than most people do. And something must have happened between Penn and Raika. The two are fighting for position, and Siabaka has taken advantage of that. And Raika goes out and Leon Penn takes P3, but something must have happened between them. Let's take a look at Nicolas and Siabaka passing Leon Penn for P2. Or not, depending on iRacing. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work, huh? Let's stay with Ladic at the moment. Starting lap 7. It's a short race, 10 laps or 15 minutes, whatever comes first. But Ladic is already putting his experience to the best use. Gap to P2 is 8 seconds. Raika has got ahead of Penn again, and Penn again ahead of Raika. Great battle, which I hope I'll be able to record later and show it to you. Because at the moment the server is not making us any favors. Say hello to Corinne, who's just joined in the chat. Hi Corinne, I hope you're doing well. Apologies for the quality of the some of the drivers' connection to the server. I'll have to figure out whether it's a server issue, which seems to me to be the case, as all those drivers who have already taken part in one of our races didn't have any problems before. Ladic again with the fastest lap with a 1:16.0. This is starting to get qualifying pace, good for him. Really no mistake at the moment for Jaden Ladic. Raika and Penn still fighting for position in P3 and P4. Meanwhile, also a good fight between Bruneval, Bucomino and Guiducci, with Bruneval having lost now 2 places to the Italian duo. Which is a shame, as he was ahead of it. Corinne commenting on the supposedly bad quality of Wi-Fi connection in Australia. I can't tell the difference, and I mean, good for you. That you can't tell the difference. At the moment we can, and it's not the best of connections at the moment. Are you cheering for Ladic, who seems to be from that part of the world, at least looking at the flag? A little bit of an excursion for Nsiabaka, but he manages to regain the track without too much issue. Ladic getting faster and faster, 1:15.9. He really doesn't care that the race is coming to an end. He's not managing the gap, he's just going for it. That's good to see. Good show tonight from Jaden Ladic, as he is now doing a penultimate lap of the sprint race. Looks like it's going to be a night where Ladic can get full points if he plays his card right. It's good to see 15, 16 drivers attending the race. Really would love to see more. And if you're interested in taking part in the Alma Corse Pre-season, all you need to do is sign up through our Discord. Links, of course, you can find on Twitch or on almacorse.it. We'll talk a little bit more about the team and what do we do and what we stand for during the warm-up that will happen between the sprint and the feature race. It would be a chance for the drivers to cool their head. I think especially Raika and Penn will need a sit-down after this race. They've been fighting for basically 10 laps already. Whereas for drivers like Ladic, it looks like they could just go on and on and on and on, putting qualifying pace. We'll have to ask Ladic where he's from. If he's not from Sydney or Melbourne, then he has already a fan in the person of Corinne. I don't know, actually. We should ask him. We'll ask him after the race. We'll try to interview the winners. It looks like that he's going to be a winner tonight. A little bit of excursion off track for Cohen. Sorry, for Raffaetta. Not too much trouble at the moment. And the checkered flag is out, and Jaden Ladic wins the race in a commanding fashion, I have to say. He just took off after the race start and never looked back. Very, very good job from Ladic tonight. He seems to have secured also the best starting position for the feature race. Siabaka in second, Raika in third, Penn in fourth. Have all completed laps with personal best win on their last lap, which really goes to show the amount of fighting that they've been doing and how much they've pushed each other throughout the race. A loser for, let's say, that the one who's lost more at the moment seems to be Liam Penn, who was P2 on the grid and now will have to start P4, but he will have a much bigger chance of getting back at Raika and Siabaka during the feature race. Full points so far for Ladic. Berger completes in P5, Guiducci in P6, good show from the Italian. Velos in P7 at the moment. He still needs to finish, complete the race, as he goes now on the start-finish straight. Bucomino P8, Bruneval still has to finish P9, Gerald Paul P10, Raffaetta P11, Cohen P12, Ingram P13, Capasso P14. And that's it for so far for the sprint race. We now have 5 minutes of warm-up and a chance for us to take deep breath, trying to understand what just happened and recharge the batteries for the longer feature race, which will start in about 5 minutes. And Corinne singing a song for the Australians. I really would love to see more drivers from down under, as they say. We know that time zone usually is a little bit of a problem when you're trying to have people from all over the world, and especially on a Sunday, which if I'm not mistaken, it should be fairly late in the night over in Australia. Yeah, getting drivers from all over the world to race at the same time is definitely a big challenge. But that's what we would love to do. We would love to make sure that we can create an inclusive championship, an inclusive team that can race with people from all over the world. And it's already nice to see that we have essentially 3 continents represented by drivers tonight. Yes, definitely we stand behind the We Race as One hashtag. 3 continents, as I was saying, Oceania, in the person of Ladic, South America with Veloz, and then the rest from Europe. We've had, actually no, it's 4 continents. I think Jared Paul is here. He's the South African, but I don't see a flag in his name. Maybe he's changed his license or something. But I'm fairly sure that we are now representing 4 continents with 16 players, which is, I believe, fantastic. And I wish we could complete them with Asia. We had drivers from Asia in the past, and I hope that we'll be able to see them again. Let us know also in the chat who you think will win. There's definitely a usual suspect with Jaden Ladic, unless he has some drama. But I think that the fight for the podium is very wide open. When Siabaka started in P2 and then Raika and Penn P3 and P4. So the podium will not be as easy to get in the right order. But I would really curious to hear from the chat what you think will be the finishing order, at least the podium for tonight's race. Yeah, Jared is South African, confirming. Yeah, I remember commentating on his race a couple of times already, and I remember seeing the flag with his name, but I don't see it at the moment. Ah, no, now I can. Yes, South Africa. There you go. 4 continents. We have the first. Wow, that's a bold take from Yaboy Klondike. P1 Jared Paul, P2 Aaron Ingram, and P3 Charlie Cohen. Well, I have to say that if that's the finishing order, I'll owe you a beer or any sort of drink if you don't like alcoholic drinks. That is a bold prediction, I have to say. A little bit less than 2 minutes to go in the warm-up, and just wanted to also explain again to the new viewers tonight what is Alma Corse, what do we stand for, why are we hosting this championship, and essentially what is our mission. It's a fairly simple mission, which is to democratize motorsport, easier said than done. By that we mean that we want to create opportunities for talented drivers and professionals to enter motorsport. We know that motorsport needs a lot of money. We're trying to create a racing team that does not have paid drivers and therefore can give opportunities to talented drivers without budget. Now, if you don't have paid drivers, it means that you need to find money elsewhere, because we cannot change the fact that motorsport is really expensive. If you have done even some karting, you will know. So that's why we're looking at different ways of raising money through crowdfunding, through online activities, and we really hope that we can get some good fans that want to follow us on our journey. And if you want to do that, easiest thing you can do at the moment is to follow us on our different platforms. That really helps when we try to talk to corporate sponsors to try and get some additional funding to go racing. So thank you if you are considering that. Meanwhile, the warm-up has finished. Only 3 laps. I think that a lot of people took the chance of going to the toilet for a little bit of a break. And now we are going on the grid for the feature race. Really exciting to see who's going to come out on top. We have a prediction from IG's 526, calling a surprise podium for Gabriel, myself, if others crash out. Good luck to you, Gabriel. I hope that if people crash out, it's not because of incidents, but because of own mistakes. As we go already on to the grid, let's also see from Corinne the prediction with Jared and Charlie taking each other out next race and triple. English, colonized podium Australia, Ireland, South Africa. Well, you know, putting English colonialism into the mix, probably not the best for, for politeness, but, Australia, Ireland, South Africa would be a very, very good podium. But let's not waste more time talking about this as the red lights are coming in. And we are racing in Laguna Seca. Excellent getaway from Ladic. Let's see now between Siabaka, Raika and Penn. Raika takes P2 at the moment. turn 1. And we already see some stuttering there. Raika seems to be in P2, Penn in P3, and Siabaka has lost 2 positions in P4. Berger in P5, then Guiducci, Bucomino, Velos, Cohen. Oh, and there's someone spinning. It's Guiducci. Guiducci has lost it, and probably taken Bucomino with him. And the 2 Italians will have to restart from P12 and P13. Ingram is already in the pits. He's probably had an accident already. Penn and Raika are fighting for position, as we already know. Meanwhile, Cohen, Berger and Velos. Oh, Berger is it. Oh, drama for Berger. That's not what we want to see. Gerald Paul in P10. Chaotic start of the race, sadly, but not for Ladic, who's already had 3 seconds advantage over Raika and Penn, who looks like they are gonna fight for a position the whole of 30 minutes or 25 laps, whatever comes first. Looks like it's a shorter lap around Laguna Seca, so we might actually get the 25 laps. As Ladic comes onto the main straight to start lap 2, let's recap a little bit what happened. Raika, excellent start, takes P2. Penn challenges Siabaka for P3 and is able to pass the Frenchman. And Siabaka, Cohen, Raffaetta now in P4, 5 and 6. Capasso P7, Bruneval P8. Paul P9, and then we have a few drivers who are in the pits with different accidents. Velos, Guiducci, Berger, Bucomino and Ingram, who will have to wait for the towing time and the fast repair. So it's going to be a very difficult race for a lot of them. We had already a also prediction from Charlie Cohen. I think that him, Jared and Jenny can get on the podium would be a magnificent combo. Cohen now is currently in P7. And yes, the prediction from Berger aged really poorly, and I'm really sad to see that. But Gabriel has put some good recovery drives in the past, and I'm sure he can put one tonight, as Ladic has now pulled a 4 seconds gap on Leon Penn. Little bit of drama for Cohen, seems to have crashed. And the chance of him getting on the podium now are really slim. Which is a shame to see, but sometimes that's what happens. Something has happened also to Raika, as he's lost 2 positions and is now in P4, with Leon Penn regaining P2, which was his qualifying position. Siabaka in P3 and Raika now in P4. Something must have happened to the Finn. With now the drivers that are on track, which will regain positions on the ones that are now in the pits. Let's go take a look if we can see what is going on with Jared Paul, the South African in P7, trying to get closer to Bruneval in P6, and which is not the car who's actually in front, that's a lapped car, and then Capasso behind in P8. Ladic with the fastest lap of the race with a 1:16.7. Again, also matched by Leon Penn, 1:16.7. So it looks like that Leon has removed the, the problem that he had in the person of Elias Raika, was kind of fighting with him and slowing him down. Now he is free to follow Jadin Ladic and try and capitalize on any mistake that the Australian will make in the race. But if we know something about Ladic, is that he doesn't really make mistakes, so it's going to be an interesting one to see how it develops. Really difficult to make predictions during these races. Lapping someone at the corkscrew, that must be really almost a nightmare, with so many things that can go wrong and the poor visibility that you have in a single-seater car. But luckily nothing happened, and good job for Stefano Guiducci, who let Ladic go by without any sort of drama and trouble. Let's see, the time from Mladic is a 1:16.8, not the fastest lap that he's done. Fastest lap comes now from Liam Penn, 1:16.456. And actually fastest lap now from Raika, 1:16.4, so don't count the fin out. It's still 20 laps to go in this race, and he might as well get on the podium if he's able to get closer to Nsiabaka and without making any mistakes. We've seen from Raika in the past that sometimes, gets a little bit nervous, so hopefully he can get his things together. Gerald Pohl going off track and regaining it, just a little excursion, same for Guiducci, who's had a little bit of rattling at the moment. Let's see if we can actually see him. Yes, he's regained, having a little bit of trouble getting control of his Dallara F3. It's not an easy car when you have cold tires. It's an even more difficult car when you have cold tires with gravel on top of them. And he decided to jump to the pits, which was probably the safest thing to do. So good job, Stefano. I think you made the right call there. Thank you for doing that. Still a long race and people will make mistakes, so he'll be able to get back to the top 10. Anyone who finishes the race actually is getting points. The scoring system for the feature race is very similar to the one that you're used to in Formula 1, so 25 points to the winner, 18 to P2, 15 P3, and then it's 12 P4, 10 points for P5, 8 in P6, then it's 6 P7. Sorry, it's a little bit confusing when you're saying it from memory. The real change is P10 that awards 2 points instead of 1, and then 1 point is awarded from P11 downwards. So finishing the race still counts, and it's good that you can fight for something even if you have, even if you are 4 laps down. You never know, people are making mistakes, you can regain position, and already P10 is now occupied by Aaron Ingram. You never know, things can happen, mistakes can happen. Mladic seems to have found his pace again. Now starting lap 7 and the fastest lap of the race with a 1:15.9. The gap to Leon Penn is 5 seconds. Nsiabaka is 10 seconds behind the leader. Now Raika is getting closer. Let's see if we can get in on the action, which seems to be a lot to ask tonight from the iRacing servers. Really apologize for that. Let's see if changing... No, this is not going to work at all. Hopefully it's not something that has happened because of the updates. But yeah, I really apologize for the technical quality of the server tonight. Sadly, you don't get to choose it. You only can choose the location. But as you can see on the map on the right hand side, so let's make a little bit of an alternative stream tonight. You can look at the map on the right hand side. So the numbers in the circles are actually the position of the people there. So now, green circle on 1, it means that we're following Jaden Mladic as he completes lap 7 and starts lap 8 with the fastest lap of the race, as is tradition, 1:15.899 for the Australian, followed by a 1:16.1 by Leon Penn, and Nsiabaka and Raika actually with the fastest lap of the race in the slipstream of Nsiabaka. Fastest lap for Elias Raika, 1:15.6. There's no points for the fastest lap of the race, but we are awarding points for the pole position. So it looks like it's going to be a full house for Mladic if nothing weird happens to him. There's also an interesting battle between Guiducci and Bucomino, P13 and P12. Both are lapped, but as you can see on the map, they're very close to each other. And those seem to be the closest battles at the moment. Also, Martin Bruneval and Dario Raffaetta, P5 and P6, are fairly close to each other, with the Italian trying to get closer to the Frenchman. We don't know what happened to the Bruneval fan club. I remember talking about Bruneval and linking his career to Grosjean career in one of our community races. We'll have to ask to his fans what happened to them. I hope he hasn't lost any. 1:15.8 for Ladic, personal best. Let's see, Siabaka 1:18. He's actually lost a lot of time fighting with Raika, who's gained the pole position, and we have recomposed the podium with Ladic, Pen and Raika in P3. I'm sorry that I cannot show you that. Let's try and see if the replay can actually do something for us tonight. I would love to show this to you. There goes Raika, up on the inside, clean pass, and good job for the Finn. Yeah, this went a little bit better than the worst that could have gone, so excellent. Good. Let's go back live now, following Ladic. My telemetry is going crazy. I see a lot of people is telling me that they crashed, but that's not true. As Ladic now completes lap 9 and starts lap 10. 1:15.7, personal best again. Oh, Corinne is also a fan of Bruneval, showcasing some excellent knowledge of the French language. I think that you'll have to excuse me my pronunciation of some of the surnames. If I'm trying to guess, maybe that's Brunval, but I have no idea. I think Martin will have to send me an audio message on how he pronounces his surname. Meanwhile, Martin goes with his personal best 1:18.3. There's definitely a little bit of a gap in terms of performance between the top of the field and the midfield. And it's going to be interesting also to see among the people who are now from P7 downwards what will happen to them. Let's actually take a look if we can show the intervals. There you go. So we can see actually who's closest to whom. At the moment it seems like Siabaka is the closest to Raika, but he's probably losing a little bit of time. And Raffaetta also close to Brunval, but this is not something that will develop soon. There's actually a little bit of traffic between Raffaetta and Brunval, as you can see on the minimap on the right hand side, with Ingram and Berger who are fighting for position, or it looks like that. Yeah, Gabriel Berger is working out for him, is his 57 seconds behind Gerald Paul in P8. So he's gonna have to wait for some drama. Something like what happened to Thomas Capasso, who went off track and now is trying to rejoin safely. Let's shake off a little bit of rust by looking at Jaden Ladic and see how he takes, how he goes around Laguna Seca. He's actually approaching Angelo Velos as a lapped car. Braking heavy for this left-hander, and now up the hill, going towards the corkscrew. It's a tricky braking zone because the car really wants to go further and further, but you have to kind of get a hang of it. And now braking hard for the corkscrew, left and then right downwards, making sure that you don't lose traction. And now here, light, losing a little bit of speed to make sure that you can take that left-hander, and now two rights, and then braking hard for the last turn that puts you onto the main straight. Wow, that was a bold overtaking on the outside to lap Angelo Veloz, and personal best from Ladic 1:15.4. Nothing can stop Ladic tonight, not even lapped cars. Sorry, that was personal best, right? Did I say fastest lap? No, that was a personal best. Let's see from the cockpit, so we can also appreciate the smoothness of his driving. And I will now shut up so you can enjoy it. That was a lap of Laguna Seca, and actually was the fastest lap of the race, courtesy of Jadin Ladic. I hope you enjoyed that. That was a very fine driving by the Australian, and he's gaining and gaining, and now Raika seems to have heard that, and he went for the fastest lap of the race with a 1:15.341. Really only a hundredth of a second faster than what we just saw from Ladic. Looks like Charlie Cohen has decided to call it quits, whereas Guiducci is in the pits now in P13. Raffaetta in P6, the best placed of the Italian platoon that took part in this race, with Capasso, Bucomino and Guiducci being P11, 12 and 13. Goes to show how difficult it is to have a clean first lap with these cars. It's going to be really difficult to have, you know, it will happen at some point unless you really qualify at the front of the grid. Then, you know, if you're in the midfield, it can just happen that you are involved into an incident that you didn't cause, and that's something really frustrating that can happen. Corinne showing his love for the French, Allez les Bleus. I think that that's also something that you will see. Oh, and I think Martin Brunewald has crashed as I say that. Did I jinx it? Let's see if we can actually see a replay of that. Wait. Here's Martin Brunewald. As I was saying, Allez les Bleus. He's actually losing the car and skidding along on the way to the corkscrew. So happy that no big consequences for him. As my timing screen goes crazy, and for a second Brunewald was P1. Good to see that everything is working very well tonight. I hope you're enjoying the very high technical feat that we're having for you tonight, with everything working just perfectly. Nothing can go wrong. We're following along Jadin Ladic as he completes a lap in 1:15. Now the personal best, probably taking care of that gap. He has 10 seconds advantage over Liam Penn, but hot on his toe, you will probably have Raika in a second. Let's take a look at the interval between Raika and Penn. Only 1.9 seconds, as Raika has an excursion off the track. So Liam Penn will have to defend his P2 soon in the last laps of the race if Raika keeps pumping fastest lap after fastest lap. Just checking a little bit on the minimap what's going on. I was trying to understand the gap between Brunval and Raffaetta. It doesn't seem to be that big, but when you look at the interval, yes, it's actually 3 seconds. So yeah, my eyesight still works quite well. We'll have to see if Raffaetta can get closer. He's been following Brunval for a little while, and he'll have to improve on his pace, because at the moment Raffaetta actually the last lap was a 119.2 and Brunval 117.1, so Raffaetta will have to step up his game, although even in personal best there seems to be a little bit of a difference, so unless Brunval makes mistakes, it looks like he'll keep the position on Raffaetta. Raffaetta is a consistent driver, and we know he can gain position just by avoiding making mistakes. A little bit of drama for Raika as he goes off the track and rejoins without too much issues. Gerald Pohl left the pit lane after a little bit of a stop, probably because of accidents, and regains the track in P10. Aaron Ingram then is promoted to P9 and Berger in P8. As I was saying at the beginning of the race, good recovery drive from Berger. He was down into P12, 13 or something like that, and now finds himself in P8 with more points than the default 1 point that you gain for completing the race. Meanwhile, Ladic again has put the fastest lap of the race with a 1:15.0, gained half a second on Leon Penn, who went with a personal best of 1:15.5, and Raika 1:15.2. So Raika is gaining on Penn. The gap between the two of them is now 1.3 seconds. It's going to be an exciting battle between the two of them. 18 laps completed out of total of 25, or 22 minutes out of 30. So I'm actually not sure if it's going to go down to either time or laps. Might be actually the same, so that we do 25 in 30 minutes. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Ladic cruising in the lead. Can anyone stop Ladic from taking the win? And most likely also a very strong lead in the championship. And there is the overtake. Raika takes P2 from Leon Penn, and Leon Penn looks like to have had some trouble and has crashed. Let's take a look. And car number 17, who's an unlucky number in Italy. Oh, he just loses it at last turn. Oh no, that's terrible, terrible, terrible luck for Leon Penn. Oh no. You gotta feel for Leon. But it looks like now he has at least secured P3, and Siabaka was too far behind to take advantage of that. And now Raika has been gifted P2. Definitely a better show from the Finn than from what happened in the first race. Happy to see Elias with good pace, having a clean race, taking advantage of other people's mistakes, as what just happened with Leon Penn. So no one in the chat at the moment had actually predicted a Ladic Raika Penn podium, so looks like that all the exotic predictions haven't come to fruition yet. There's still 5 laps to go in this race. And Leon Penn goes into the pits, so it looks like this is not going to be a podium position for him. Let's see if Siabaka can take advantage of that, and he just does. Taking P3 for the Frenchman. And Leon Penn might have to settle for P4. Brunval is a lot behind in P5. Usually, Penn has already got out of the pits, so that was a fast repair used for the Englishman. Actually, I do hope I'm not making a wrong assumption there, seeing the UK and Ireland flag. And Leon Penn has actually now been lapped, so only 3 drivers have not been lapped by Ladic. which goes to show the strength of the Australian, who's done a perfect race so far. Personal best for Gabriel Berger. Good to see that he is still pushing, whereas Ingram behind him in P9 doing a little bit of drifting off the track and regaining the track safely. Stefano Guiducci with a 1:18.5, which is not far from what other people have done in front of him, but probably not enough time in this race for Guiducci to challenge Bucomino for P12. Also, another battle that is going to brew very soon is the one between Paul and Capasso. Gerald Paul is 3 seconds behind Capasso. It was actually 1 second closer, but then something have happened to him. A little bit of commentator's curse on Gerald Paul. Sorry, apologies for that. That was not my intention. It actually does make a difference if you finish P11 or P10. If you finish in P10, you gain 2 points. If you finish from P11 downwards, you gain 1 point, but you have to complete the race. Something that Cohen, Gnazzo and Razul haven't done, so they will not get points. Guiducci now with a personal best, 1:17.9. Good to see the Italian improving. I hope that we'll be able to see all these drivers also next week when we go to Alton Park and we go to Europe. We've actually, something that I like about the pre-season is that, of course, virtually we have visited 3 continents. We were in Okayama circuit 2 weeks ago. We are, so that was in Asia. We are in Laguna Seca tonight, which is in America. And then next week we're going to be Alton Park in Europe. And something remarkable about the Italian drivers tonight is that, Italy is actually playing against Wales tonight, but to the Italians who are following this instead of the football game, you have my utmost respect. I love you all, and I hope that you will keep following us. And I mean football, right? I mean, come on. Every time you touch a footballer, they just go down screaming, like if they were about to be tortured. Whereas in racing, the worst that can happen is people complaining about tires. And sometimes calling people names. That can also happen on the radio in Formula 1. A lot of beeps going on. Meanwhile, lap 23 out of 25. Ladic getting closer and closer to gaining all the points that were available, taking the championship and running away with it. The winner of the championship will actually get a free pass into our official esports season that will start in September. Our goal with that esports season is to basically use it as a crowdfunding opportunity. So we are asking people to contribute a small amount of money so that we can pool that money together and then go racing. We have different options on the table depending on how much money we think we can raise. The dream would be to get into Formula 4. We've had different contacts with different teams, and that's not really easy. We'll have to see what is feasible, but in the meantime we're preparing a plan B and plan C so that we can offer the opportunity to the winner of the esports season to actually get into a real car and race in a real series. But that's going to happen from September onwards. For now, we are focused on Ladic, who's into his penultimate laps. As I was predicting, we are getting to the same. We're getting to 30 minutes and lap 24 out of 25, and we're almost over our clock as Ladic approaches the corkscrew. Raika and Siabaka behind him, Leon Penn pumping the personal best with a 1:15.4. We can imagine that he must be really frustrated as Bruneval goes off the track and P5. I hope he's not jeopardizing. And yes, as I say that, he does jeopardize his P5. And Rafaeta says thank you very much or merci beaucoup and takes P5 from Brunval. Checkered flag and Jaden Ladic wins the feature race here in Laguna Seca. Full points for the Australian. Great to see. He has had a perfect second round to this championship. Gabriel Berger also taking the checkered flag in P8. Actually, there might be a little bit of a glitch because it says white flag, which means last lap of the race, but on the timing screen I'm also seeing, same as you, checkered flag. So again, iRacing really not being confusing here. I think that they're still racing because Ladic is not slowing down at all. Hopefully this doesn't catch anyone off guard. I hope that little bit of drama for Ladic on what's supposed to be the last lap of the race, even though we see here that he's taking the checkered flag already. Wow, that must be really last lap of the race. You're in the lead. What can go wrong? As Ladic approaches the fastest corner, sorry, the last corner, as he goes and definitely takes the checkered flag now. So yes, it's over. Ladic P1, Raika P2, Siabaka P3, Liam Penn P4. Then Rafaeta, let's take a look at the results. Definitely not the ones for the warm-up. We really are not interested in the warm-up results. We are interested in the feature race results with Jaden Ladic, car number 1, P1, the winner. Then Raikkonen P2, Siabaka P3, Liam Penn P4, Rafaeta P5, Veloz P6, Brunval P7. Little bit of drama for the Frenchman at the end of the race, and he's lost a couple of places. Then Berger P8, Ingram P9, Capasso P10 taking 2 points, and then after him Gerald Paul, Kevin Bucomino, Stefano Guiducci, and then out of the race Charlie Cohen, Samuel Razul and Giuseppe Gnazzo. It's been an interesting race. I hope you have enjoyed it. I am again sorry for a little bit of problems that we've had. We can also take a look at the sprint race results. Ladic, Siabaka, Raika, Penn, Berger, P5, Guiducci, Veloz, Bucomino, Brunval, Paul, Rafaeta, Cohen, Ingram, Capasso, Razul and Gnazzo. It has been a really interesting race. Lots of fighting between Raika and Penn. Can this be something that we can see again next week? We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, let me say thank you to all of you who have been watching this live. If you really have liked what you see, please consider following us on Twitch. It really helps. Our goal is to get to 50 followers so that we can unlock the associate path. Oh wow, it looks like I've said unlock a sociopath. No, it's the associate path. And try and see if we can get closer to signing a deal with a corporate sponsor that could help us get racing into the real world. This was the second round of the Alma Corse Pre-season, brought to you by Alessio Romito. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week again at 6 p.m. European time, 5 p.m. British time, with the third and last round of the pre-season at Alton Park. Thank you, everyone, and good night.